Hello? 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 Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the show. The show titled... What is it titled? Chat, remind me. What is this show called again? There's a couple things we can call this show. We can call this show... Dan's not prepared to plan anything. We can call this show... Maybe that's the point? Is it a weird... Well, let me go here. Is it a weird explanation to myself to say, if I plan the show, you're almost ruining the show? I'll tell you right now, I plan every show, technically. Every show we do is planned, technically. Everything we do is planned, technically. Here, let me actually get the real intro to the show. Let me get this started for real. See, can I You guys hear the music okay? Alright, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Dan's Stream of Thought, the show that stayed up until 6 a.m. playing video games with his friends. Why? Why did he do such a thing? Honestly, for the wholesome goodness. The wholesome goodness. The great stuff that comes with being friends with people. What are those? Not sure. What are those friends, you ask? I'm honestly, I'm not sure. Well, I could call you guys my friends, all you listeners out there. All the people that are hanging out, chilling, relaxing, sitting back, kicking up a cold one, popping open a nice cold White Claw. I'm looking at you, Wes. You know what I'm talking about. Although, I'm sure there's a lot of the White Claws out there. The ones... the ones that don't care about any of the laws. Right? Is that Dad? Dad, you can't Dad, you can't talk like that. Dad, you're embarrassing me. Dad, come on, man. Come on, man. Dad. Oh, dude, Dad, oh, God. God, why? Hey, man. Y'all are my children. I get to say whatever I want, right? Oh God, I'm not paying for you guys' tuition. I shouldn't say that. I can't even pay for my own tuition. Not on this budget teacher salary. I'm not even a teacher. What am I saying? But anyway, so there's a plan for today. The episode is called Ownership. We're gonna subtitle this Ownership of Your Content in All Lights. And what I mean by all lights is literally under the camera lights. There are many things we can talk about with this, but I decided to keep it pretty broad because, well, it's a stream of thought. We're gonna see where we go with it. How'd you know? Hi, Wes. Hi, Shelly Bean. Hi, Darka Bleem. Hey, Liam. What's up, Dylan? Look, I just finished paying off my student loans. Now I gotta enroll in Dan's school. So here's the thing. You just lied to yourself. You just lied to yourself. Said, I just finished paying off my student loans. That's a lie. You know why? You never finish paying off your student loans. You know why? Because there's always something that's going to come back and bite you in the butt. No, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I was fortunate to take the first 2 years 2.5 years of school, and pay for school while I had a job and stuff like that. So I thankfully didn't have a whole lot of student loans. But I also decided that, hey, Dan, I heard that, you like being in school and you want to go do things that, expand your horizons. Hey, you should enroll in graduate school. What's graduate school, you might ask? It's just more expensive school. But why would you go to more expensive school? Because when you graduate from more expensive school, jobs pay you more. But if jobs pay you more, then why would you need to pay more to go to the school? Well, see, here's the trick. That's where they get you. Because in the end, you don't get to make that money until you're in your, 40s and 50s. School tuition's a joke. School tuition's a joke. I'm not saying that everything should be paid for and people should have a free ride to everything, but I am saying that things should be paid for, like education, and people should have a free ride to education. I am saying that. No, I take it back. I am saying that. I'm exactly saying that. That is exactly what I'm saying. It's called education. It's literally the building blocks of all the things we do. That's exactly why we have this show in general. That's why that's the idea behind why I even wanted to do any type of show in the first place. From the beginning, here's my monthly Dane Stream of Thought loan repayment. I don't think I have the alerts overlay for this channel, but thank you for contributing 300 Danobucks to the tuition pot. It'll go towards that. It goes straight towards education. It goes straight towards the Streamer Square education. It's great. Even medical expenses in the U.S. Yeah, they are. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and this person has to get a last-ditch resort that's gonna cost $37K for 7 treatments. It's it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But when it comes to education, it's always the same. It's always the same response. Oh, who's gonna pay for it? Damn it, we are. We already do pay for it. What do you mean? Well, what if non-sick people don't get sick and they have to pay for it? Who cares? Do they not understand that if you're talking about having people healthy around you, that if you want to start a business that requires healthy people to buy stuff from you, you need those people to be healthy? What part of keeping your consumer base alive doesn't matter to people? Why is that not making any sense to anybody? I don't get it. Hey, well, there's too many people on this planet. We need to, just let them die off. Let the rich stay alive. No, it's not how this works. This isn't the hot fix. We don't need to talk about that stuff. We need to talk about that. But the spirit is still there, which is take care of your fellow human and animal alike. Just take care of them. Why? Because they'll probably take care of you in return. If you want to get to if you want to go to the bare bones selfish reason of why you should take care of others, it's because they'll probably take care of you in return. Just leave it at that. That's not a good reason, because it's very selfish, but it's a good enough reason for those that are pretty selfish about themselves. So just take care. Just take care of yourself. Just take care of others and they will take care of you. That's how it goes. That's as simple as that. Okay, so let's see. What are we doing today? We're talking about ownership. Ownership goes a lot of different ways. Ownership goes towards, we can go talk about the legal side of it. Although, disclaimer, exclamation point disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. Nor do I have any lawyer skills or licenses or certifications or am barred in any state in the United States of America, the great glory Kona town of the world. So anything I do and say is not something you need to follow by any legal recourse, because I am not responsible. That disclaimer has been said. Disclaimer. Disclaimer, disclaimer. YouTube, pick this up. Disclaimer. If you're watching this in the future, disclaimer. Watching this in the present, disclaimer. If you're somehow watching this in the past, disclaimer. Meaning you're seeing the future because you're in the past. It doesn't matter. Anyway. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jack LaFear. So wait, does this mean that it is feasible to privatize fire departments because you don't have a house on fire you shouldn't pay? By the way, hello, friends. Sure. Most people, at least in California, they rent anyway, right? And the rest of the people don't even own their house. The bank owns it. So we should just have all the banks and all the apartment complex owners, they should pay for the fire departments, right? I believe, yeah, that we should do it that way. I agree with that. 100%. 100%. I think yep. Keep your stuff from burning down because you own all this stuff. I legitimately think that would be, like, banks should pay for, like, all the fire departments and insurance companies, renters insurance and homeowners insurance. They should pay for all that stuff. Why? Because it's their stuff. It's their stuff. Expenses would be passed to tenants. Well, that's not them paying for it, is it? I'm talking about actually them paying for it. Anyway. We're talking about ownership, which a lot of that comes down to it. We can shift this. You know what? You guys want to see what kind of a host I am? We can shift this. We can talk about how the ownership of what you do on your channel and how no matter what's going on, you have full control over it. How you not taking ownership looks very much like you're a big bank pushing the costs onto the people living in your homes. And what I'm talking about are things like when somebody puts... I mean, this is kind of an old reference. Now, it's like over, I don't know, whenever IRL was like the big thing. When people say the N-word in your alerts and they say it out loud on your phone. When you probably are okay with that if you let that happen. This is what I assume. If you let that happen and you're just an IRL streamer and just kind of let that happen and just had no, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I feel so embarrassed. You probably knew it was going to happen at some point. So maybe I'm not talking to you because you probably have your own agenda behind you. But for those that have it happen on accident or when it says it on screen, when they don't mean it to, it's like we could shift it towards, well, we didn't know it was going to happen, but we're not going to pay for it. And blame it on, like, nasty people in the world. You can blame it on all the things that are real, technically, right? Because the people who live in houses are real. You can blame it on things that are real, but it's time for you to take ownership on the fact that you can ban all those words. One of the things I notice a lot that gets talked about a lot on social medias and often gets complained about during stream is people saying words they don't like, right? People saying words that they just do not like, whether it's in chat, whether it's in an alert, whether it's in a text-to-speech, no matter what. People saying things that they don't like. And we're talking about things that the person on the camera would never like, right? Like ever, right? Like the C word, cherry. We're gonna codename it cherry. I mean, no, that's the word. The word is cherry. Cherry. Why'd you say that's terrible? I'm gonna go tweet about this. This person said this. Why are people so nasty? It's like, well, personally, I believe that people aren't really that nasty, but the fact that they can hide behind a silhouette of a name and people don't know who they are brings out the fact that they can pretend to be nasty. Granted, does that also make them nasty for letting that happen? I'm not sure. Possibly. Possibly. But with that being said, you have the power to block all these things from happening. Like, you can blame Stream Elements, you can blame Streamlabs, you can blame Twitch, you can blame all these things, but you legitimately have, no matter what you use, you have two blockades. In fact, you can have as many blockades as you want by just creating a ton of different bots. You have at least 2 blockades if you use an alert system or if you use Twitch, which you automatically do. YouTube, I don't know how much that has that. I really, YouTube in their comment section has been pretty horrible in the past. But you can moderate your channel and the comments that happen pretty heavily, I believe. So that can happen. But the point is, you can block these things from happening. So getting mad at something else other than maybe yourself is probably the, I don't know. I can't say correct cause because that's not right. Because there's no correct, right? There's no right and wrong here in the wild west of Twitch.tv and YouTube.com and all that stuff. Yeah, YouTube has disabled comments. I've noticed that. But the reason to like, because that is a good, Instagram and Twitter have that too. And it seems like, to me, I get it. First of all, I get it. I get why it's usable. To me, that seems like such a drastic turn that you have to have. You gotta have like some serious, I don't want to interact with anybody watching my videos for whatever reasons it might be. Not because you're a jerk or anything, but because whether it's you don't want the chance of somebody seeing the comments in there and it just being gross. Like, let's say you're a smaller YouTuber. Let's be honest. Most of the people that are gonna comment, unless you're awesome, which you probably are, most of the people that are going to comment on your videos are the people that are going, hey, do you want to be YouTube friends? Hey, I just subscribed to you. Will you subscribe to me? And YouTube usually catches most of those, but there's a lot they don't catch. Trust me, I get them all the time. Hey, I really enjoyed your content. I just put up the video and there's 1 view and you watched for 10 seconds. Not even that, actually, probably like 3 seconds. I can see that because YouTube's very good at tracking that. I really like your content. Will you subscribe to my channel? Maybe we can collaborate together? It's like, dude. I'm curious. That's a different part. That's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. Wholly different conversation. The point I'm trying to get to is that is a drastic change that's a drastic move that I think is valuable in probably a lot of circumstances. I personally have not come to use that strategy, but who knows? Maybe it's a good idea. Probably not for me because I do like the interaction, but I would see a lot of YouTubers, people who make content on YouTube, not really needing to have any interaction because let's face it. YouTube is very good at making content that is engaging through the content itself and not necessarily the chat room. Personally, for the longest time, people complained about, back in like the 2015, 2014, people complained about, oh, don't look at YouTube comments, look at YouTube comments. And I'm sitting there going, I didn't even know YouTube comments were a thing. I didn't even know how bad they were because I never really looked at them. It's built in a way that you really don't have to. So, like, the people that are dragged to those often have problematic systems, which is why Discord's an awesome thing, right? You own what's going on, so if you don't feel like you want to engage there, like, probably say something about it in your content, but legitimately put in there, hey, if you want to engage with us, join the Discord. We can actually, like, live chat with each other instead of, like, going through YouTube comments. But then, you know, obviously there's algorithms and stuff like that you got to pay attention to. It's all a big mess. It's all a huge mess because and it kind of necessarily has to be a mess because there's no way to make everybody happy because on some channels the comments do just fine, right? Sometimes the comments provide lots of great information. One of my friends is the Juji Mufu and Todd Boyden. They're a fitness channel, and they legitimately get good tips and information on their workouts in the comments. Granted, they also have a Discord, but I mean, that's a different audience, right? Some people don't like Discord. Some people just want to chat in the comments. It's fine too. So it's like there's no right answer, which is why it's such a this is how it goes. There's never going to be a right answer, in my opinion. I don't think we can get to a point where having one medium makes it all. I mean, we can go the communistic route and force everybody to do something, right? And we can definitely turn off comments. Hey, I'm going to turn off all Instagram comments. I'm going to turn off all Twitter comments, turn off all YouTube comments, all Twitch chat, where everybody's going to talk in Discord. You can force that. Your audience will probably not enjoy it, at least a percentage of it. But I mean, if it allows you to keep your focus and allow you to own what's going on, hey, that may not be a terrible decision. I don't know. Don't quote me there. I've never tried that, nor will I probably ever try it. But who knows? Theoretically, it could be great, right? Hey, man, you don't have a ton of engagements on your Twitter account or your Instagram account. Or, you don't have a bunch of comments because you turn your comments off on your YouTube videos. How do you have so many people that follow you? Well, we all sit in a Discord and we chat together. We all have a great time. Because and this comes from a lot of different things. Like I talk to people all the time. It's like, hey, you watch my channel. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, like that's probably positive for us, and it allows you to get a little bit more engagement in news based on what we're doing and whatnot. And then the amount of comments I get in response of, I don't use Twitter. And then we have a discussion about that. Why don't you use Twitter? Oh, Twitter's gross. I don't like it. It's not my style, and there's too many blah 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 people, right? And it's like, yeah, that's totally fair. But what if you pushed everybody to one point? It could get overwhelming and toxic as well. As the content creator, it's kind of the decision you want to make. How often do you want to have to be checking everything, right? It can, like, there are people who engage once a day with the people that respond to them, which, in fairness, that's probably more than enough, because you do have to take time to yourself. You do have to not be a workaholic like most of us. It's probably more healthy for you to do so. And you could do that and check all your mediums and all your channels and see what happens. Personally, I always forget about one or two, and I always miss like somebody's comment somewhere. Or you push it all to one area. Hey, I just tweeted something. If you want to talk about it, join us in Discord. You know how it goes. I mean, it's all about repetition at that point too, right? Because the more and more you say it, the more people learn about it. And I would be willing to bet that the more and more people are going to accept that this is the way to interact with you, But to tie it all back to ownership, you get to decide all of that. That is part of you being the owner of your content. You get to decide all of that. You could decide, as a lot of fitness people do, and a lot of strongmen and power lifters and all these things, they don't even touch Twitter. It's defining them on Twitter is actually impossible. They don't touch Twitter. They're all Instagram, because their medium is almost purely visual, right? They don't tell jokes. Like, they're not funny. They're not, there's some funny strongmen out there, but for the most part, none of them are funny, right? They're big meatheads, and they're very athletic, and they do really cool stuff. So might as well just push it to a completely visual medium. Personally, I do a little bit of everything, so I like to spread it out, but that's why it's important to use apps like, Buffer and Hootsuite that can push it all to one area. Obviously, you have to keep up with the engagement when you do that, but it's probably better for a widespread area of expertise. But it's a good thing to say, It's a good thing. It's a good practice to use, because it depends on the interaction you want. Different platforms have different interactions as well. They very much do. I'm hesitant to say that it is it's spread into types of people, right? Types of people comment on YouTube, types of people comment on Twitter, types of people comment on Instagram. types of people go into your chat and chat with you live. Types of people don't like that, so they like to send something in Discord so that you see later, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which is another reason why those different platforms and having them open are important. But if you feel the need to shut them off, like, I wouldn't be ashamed of that. From the business side, it's probably not a great idea, but from the personal side and maybe the focus side, maybe it is a good idea. I honestly, I don't know. I've never tried something like that, but it is interesting to possibly know. I don't get a whole lot of comments on my YouTube videos, so I'd be curious to see if, like, cutting those off would be the solution to getting rid of a lot of the bots that comment on channels, because the ratio is probably outweighed, because there's a lot of bots that comment on YouTube videos. There's a lot of bots that comment on YouTube videos. There's a lot of bots that comment on YouTube videos. So maybe cutting those out and cutting everything out. But then again, you don't want to punish all for, the people that are bad, right? That's one thing too, is like, part of being the owner of your content is definitely thinking about the general public and thinking about the people that you wish to have and engage with. Now, that comes down to training your moderators. That comes down to staying consistent in how you discipline, or how you, maybe not discipline, maybe that's not the right word. But how you moderate yourself, and how do you moderate the content itself. I tried likewise experiments and found some interesting results that have had permanent positive results. I did emote mode for 3 streams. I did follower only chat for 2 months. Relating to your subject, this was because I made a decision and owned it. When choosing platforms, I feel many people think backwards. I feel it's not what I want for interactions. It's understanding that interactions those who consume my content wish to use. I'm focused on the first part. When choosing platforms, I feel it's not what I want for interactions. It's understanding what interactions those who consume my content wish to use. Do people think about that backwards? Because I feel like I don't feel like they're opposites. I feel like they're not opposites, because they sort of go hand in hand. You kind of need to know what you want out of something before you can understand how somebody uses something. Because I think they can go hand in hand. Yes. There is when you develop that thought of, hey, this is the interaction that I want out of whatever this might be, and then you don't get the result that you wish for, it's easy to go, oh, this is wrong, this is bad, why is this not going right, why is this getting wrong? It's easy to do that when that may not be the situation, right? That may not be the result in question. That may just be you being a human, which, trust me, we all are, except for you robots out there. I'm talking to you. Beep boop 1 2 1 1. No, wait, no, there's no 2s in binary. 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1. Maybe I don't speak robot very well. But we all have this human reaction to, I didn't get what I expected, so it must be wrong, right? It happens all the time. Like, I know this from a academic perspective, and I know logically that this is not the reaction one should have when something doesn't go their way. But as a human, you kind of are naturally succumb to that feeling sometimes. Obviously, you get better and better and better as you mature, but things don't always go that way. So my point is, I don't think they're opposites, but I do think they're different. And I think that mind process is important to think about. Yes. Instead of thinking about what you want out of something, try thinking more along the lines of how these people are using something, right? And I know, and as you kind of develop as a content creator, you can start to learn that a little bit more, which is probably why I never got to the point of let's just shut off a couple channels altogether so that I only have outgoing there. Because yes, there are people who like to use the Discord to be able to chat with you and leave something there. There are people that like to use the Discord so that they can edit what they said, right? I'm not going to tweet at you because I can't edit my tweet. And if I delete my tweet, who knows who already saw it, blah, blah, blah. I don't like being on Twitter because it allows for interactions from people that I don't actually know because they're not really part of your community. Maybe they're people that you follow or that followed you from some random thing, or maybe the tweet got a like from people I'm not really a big fan of, so their community came in. So I'd rather only talk to you on Discord, because on Discord I can edit, I can feel like we're in a private location, because yeah, Discord feels very, very much, it feels more private, more at home, because Discord's very good at their UI design. I think they legitimately designed it that way to feel more at home. Plus, there's obviously less people, and you can literally see everybody in the channel, right? You can go invisible, but for the most part, people don't. You can see everybody in the channel. So even if you don't know them, you know that there are people there. So, like, understanding what people want when they say something to you on any medium is... I can't say it's a key to success. It's not the key to success. It is a key to success because it can help you not come off like you're annoyed or you're confused or like you don't really want to know the person when you really do. Like that comes off a lot as a content creator, and as you have like so many people from different walks of life, different aspects, different mediums attempting to communicate with you. There are so many reasons why somebody can feel disconnected, and this is part of it, where you don't mean to sound short, but you do make a short comment or whatever it might be. Hey, that's funny. Hey, ha ha ha. Or you comment on somebody's thing, but you don't comment on the other, maybe because you didn't see it, or maybe because you don't know what to say, stuff like that. To keep up with everything is nearly impossible. So taking things one step at a time and understanding what people want when they come to you for those reasons is very important. I feel like Discord makes making friends easier on how the servers work. You can freely add people to your server and move those that you don't feel comfortable with, and get to know them at your own pace. That's, yeah, pretty much it. So we can liken this to a house party versus a club, right? The club is Twitter. Like, you can have a giant mansion. Let's say it's a giant mansion house party for that house party, by the way. It holds the same amount of people as this club, right? People may sneak into your house party. You may not know them. Even the host, the owner of the server, the owner of the house party, that's Discord, by the way. They may have people sneak in that they have no idea who they are. But they're there. And in some way, shape, and form, there was a connection that let them there. They may have some bad apples. They may have some problems in there. But in the end, they're going to be somebody of a connection that you can at least find a thread to understand with. There's always something in common at that house party, right? There's something that can be grasped out of what seems like thin air, but in difference to going to a club, it actually almost is out of thin air, trying to strike up a conversation with somebody that you absolutely may have zero in common with, because the odds of you having something in common with somebody at a nightclub could be nothing, could be zero. The odds could be absolutely 0 to 100, right? I mean, you could hit it off, but I think that we're not talking about dating, by the way. Talking about friendship. Everything I'm talking about very much can sound like we're talking about dating. I'm not talking about dating, I promise. I haven't been on a date in 6.5 years, so don't ask me about dating. So yeah, so there's all kinds of reasons why a house party Discord channel can just, even without having any of those aspects, can just feel more comfortable for somebody who may be a little shy or introverted, right? Gotta go to Drunk Loco for dating advice. Can I get like the best advice from Drunk? I've been around Drunk Loco, and I've never heard any dating advice, but I've heard like how to party advice. I've heard how to stay up all night and have a good time without going to sleep because that's for losers advice. I've heard good Twitch advice from Drunk Loco. I've heard lots of good things from Drunk Loco. Like she's it's like oddly, weirdly, it's like she gets smarter. What? How does Loco suggest to party? I must know. It's less of a suggestion. I'll just leave it there. It's less of a suggestion, more of like a, no, you need to stay out with all of your friends. Duh. It's convincing, you know. You're just sitting there, you go, oh, I should have fun with all my friends. You're right, Loco. You're right. I'm gonna stay out and have some fun with my friends. That's pretty much how it goes. If a person chooses to make fitness content, typically I see them ask, how do I get this message to fitness enthusiasts on Twitter? Instead of asking, where is the social media platform that fitness enthusiasts would most often use? Sure. Yeah. Oh, hi Frostbites. How are you, bud? I would say that people are getting better at that. A lot better at that, which is exactly what the whole example with most fitness influencers that are not on YouTube, or they're usually on YouTube or Twitch. That's like the main go-to because, well, those are the bigger platforms. Biggest platform for streaming, biggest platform for recorded content. And then secondarily, people with a visual mindset, with a visual content base, they tend to gravitate towards Instagram and kind of just forget Twitter altogether because let's face it, Twitter is not too visual of a platform, even though they ate up one of the greatest visual platforms of all time just to make it so that they can have a better visual platform, and then failed. Twitter destroyed, they purchased Vine and then destroyed it because it was competing with their video platform service that was not taking off, and not understanding that it was not competition that was killing them, it was the fact that they were just doing it wrong. So, in turn, kind of destroying two platforms. Twitter is a text it's a text platform. It really is. Which is probably why you see a lot of young people not using Twitter that much, right? The younger generation is using Instagram and TikTok and what's the new one? Byte, because those are strictly visual platforms. Those are easier to manage. Those are easier to consume. And as a younger human being, this is science now, as a younger human being, you're more stimulated by things that are visual, right? You're more stimulated by things that are, I mean, think about it. Like, how many horny teens have people had in their chats talking about a woman's appearance? And how can you automatically go to the fact that they're young, right? Old people are pervs too. 100%. I don't know if that shocks anybody. Older people are pervs too. Probably just as pervy as teenagers. But they tend to be more excited by things other than just straight up visual, right? We see this in like this transition. We see this transition of younger to older, actually. And I see this whenever I mention, or whenever somebody sees me with a Twitch t-shirt on or a Twitch sweater, or now at my new gym, there's actually a lot of content creators there, and a lot of like powerlifting content creators, and like people that like to very much use Instagram because it's a visual medium where they can show off their big lifts, right? Hey, I'm about to lift this 400-pound bar with all these freaking weights on it. Yeah, I'm gonna show some people, so I'm gonna record it, and there's a bunch of people there, and we talk about it now. But we see this shift of younger to older, whereas you see teens that are just like, dude, she's hot, man. Dude, like, oh my god, like, what games does she play? I don't know. League of Legends, I think? I don't know, but she's hot, and I watch her all the time. It's like, okay. As we get older, we see this shift into, now I know, now I'm like at an age where I want to start making a career. Hey, Twitch looks like a cool career. Let's talk about this for a second. Hey, you do this? Hey, Dan, you're a Twitch streamer. do you think if you had boobies, you would get more viewers? I'm like, really? So it's exactly the same, right? It's the same mentality of all I care about is that visual stimulation, but now I'm thinking about business, right? Now I'm thinking about how to put business into this. Hey, can I get my girlfriend on the camera and we can actually make more money off that way? Why would I get my girlfriend? Well, because I think she's hot, but I also want to make money. So it's that transition of I want to be financially stable, which is the older, kind of more mature section, and the I'm still kind of a horny teen crossing over. And now we're going to try to make something out of that. You know what I mean? So we see that transition and it's clear. It's almost like you can literally draw the lines to make those things happen, right? And yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, as you get older, people are more attracted to people's brains and their credit scores and their careers and stuff like that. As a unicorn, I'm horny and offensive. Wait, as in not offended, but offensive. Okay, all right. All right. As a horny teen, I take offense. Followed by Gregor, you're like 50. Loco calling him out. Calling him out. At this point, I'm only on Twitter because her friends post 100, and the 100 doggo accounts I follow is pretty much it. That's kind of everybody, right? So the reasons I'm on Twitter are for all my friends, right? When I get to comment on a Loco tweet, and then all of her and my community come together and just start making puns and make me want to like jump off a cliff somewhere. Those happen. Dan, I have moves. It doesn't get me the viewers. The beard, however, this is now. Let's talk about equality for a second, because you're not wrong, and you see what I have, what freaking thing I have, the squirrel I have on my face. It goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. I heard Natasha Leggero talked about this in her last special. She talks about how women never ask for feet pics because they're not nearly as gross as men. And you know, it's a fair point, and I think it goes the same way. I've never had a woman on stream or a girl or whatever ogle at me and act like a total gross pig at me on Twitch. But there have been handfuls that have made comments about my appearance, and not necessarily just a straight up how do you do polite way, right? And it's mostly about the mustache, it's about other things, but the point is it's, you know, it's equality, it goes both ways, but women are definitely better at it and they can get away with it because they're more skilled and nice and just better. I feel like boys can probably take some lessons. But that goes. It's that's just a little side thing for perspective. Dude, she's hot. Do you game with viewers? Yeah, exactly. So lately I've been getting an outside promotion. So we've been getting a lot of people that we're not used to in my channel, and you can definitely tell that there's a lot of questions that spark up when somebody sees something with, you know, as many viewers or whatever. But you see these things happen and they see them come out of like what seemingly out of thin air. But again, a big thing and part of like understanding what your type of content is understanding where that's coming from, and feeling, this is where the term grounded comes from, feeling like you kind of understand the outside world around you rather than just your little world. And I think a big part of your ownership of your content is being able to understand that, hey, this is what I do. This is how I do it. These are all the things that I create and develop. But I understand that this is mine. And if I can control this and I can have what I have, I can teach other people what it is that I have without sitting there going, oh, I just do things. You know, you can teach other people what it is that you have, and you can actually spread that message throughout whatever's around you and whoever might be a little bit attracted. That is just a marketing tip. It should help. But that does come with taking the ownership of what you have going on within your content. I think the reason that this topic popped up in the first place was legitimately because I saw yet again people complaining about things that were happening in their channel that they felt like they had no control of. It's hard for me to comment on a lot of those because I have this weird... It's not weird, it's probably very common. Fear of sounding like a total butthole. Where... I mean, I was just interviewed by a reporter. I don't know if the article's ever going to come out. I hope it does. It's a very important article. So I won't say who it is or where it's from, but we talked a lot about like messaging people about something that may or may not be going wrong and that you might find sketchy. And I think I've developed sort of a reputation to, at least if I approach somebody, they know I'm coming to them hopefully in good faith, rather than trying to be elitist towards them and saying, hey, I know what I'm talking about, you don't listen to me. Because I hate that. Like, it's the fear, it's like my fear and my hate coming together at the same time. I hate when people, because I grew up in the Monster Hunter and Call of Duty and Counter-Strike community, so I grew up around nothing but straight up elitists. Believe it or not, the Monster Hunter world is far worse than the other two combined. But there's nothing but elitists and people who brag about everything they do, and that developed this kind of distaste and disgust in me about people who just talk about, hey, I'm really good at this and you're doing it wrong and I'm sorry that you're so bad, right? Because people talk about backseating on Twitch all the time and stuff like that. I don't really mind backseating. If you want to sit there and actually instruct me on some like tips and tricks on how to do something, great. Like I fully welcome that. But oh, you know what? If you want to do it that way because, you know, you're comfortable with being bad, that's fine. And then that's when I'm like, okay, that's bannable in my channel, by the way. If you're going to be passive aggressive about how much you're better than somebody else and talk about like I'm the greatest and you can never touch me, stuff like that, that's bannable in my channel. But if you say, hey, I think you should be doing this, it's probably a better move in a polite way, like that's fully welcomed. I love that. Please, more of that all the time. So with that, coupled with the fact that I don't want people that I want to be liked all the time, right? Because as a content creator, I feel like that's a natural feeling. I want to be liked all the time, and I don't want to come off as the elite butthole. It's if I see something wrong happening, it takes me a little bit of I have to think about this and how to word this properly, or how to approach this person without totally sounding like an elitist that is trying to maybe sabotage them or ruin their relationship with somebody and something like this. Because there are people out there that a ton of people follow and love. I'm pretty sure a lot of them have been outed so far, but either way, a lot of people love and stuff like that. And I sit there and I go, I know how scummy that person is, but I'm not going to go to every single person and tell them that, because who knows what's going to get twisted and what's going to get to that person and say, hey, this person's talking crap about you and I think that it's wrong, and somebody taking that message wrong, when in reality it's like, you know, you don't want to sit there and go, well, this person is not doing things very wholesomely, I'm just pointing it out, because like no matter what, it sounds bad, it sounds wrong. So I don't do that much, I really don't, but I do sometimes. And the couple times I have done it has worked, but anyway. That's just a little insight into my own anxiety. Regarding things that people don't have control of, that's 100% valid. There are so many things outside of your control. Every one of those situations come with an opportunity. You can create to guide and control it and point forward. Correct. But a lot of the things we're talking about are controllable. I want to get that clear. Banning words in your chat is 100% controllable. Banning words that happen in your alerts are controllable. So the things that I'm referring to are the things that are controllable. Obviously, yes, there's billions of things you cannot control. Is that what canceling is? Canceling that can come from that, where if you're trying to protect some people and somebody leaks that incorrectly or out of context, and then a bunch of people jump on that person for trying to protect them, that is basically canceling in for the bad way, because there's like canceling in good ways too, right? Like canceling a Nazi, like an in closet or out of closet, whatever you want to call Nazi, and that people know and probably like, and outside of that they just don't know they're a Nazi. Canceling that kind of, that's probably okay, right? I don't know. I'm not that, so it doesn't matter. Always scared of whenever I talk, especially on the internet. I'm so scared to come off so aggressive. Yeah. I'm not afraid of it because it just happens. So can you be afraid of something that you've already done? It just happens. I come off aggressively. I don't... Guys, ask anybody that has like met me in person. I don't think I'm that aggressive. Well, I mean, maybe don't ask them. Maybe I don't want to know the answer to this. I don't think I'm that aggressive. But I know for a fact I sound aggressive. I sound like the guy that is trying to put you down, trying to make you feel like dirt. I promise, I don't mean to. I don't mean to. Other than mitigating and responding to poor situations in the community, or how to choose how you choose to social media, what are your thoughts on the other things you can apply ownership to? When it comes to ownership, we can talk about... So I started writing this stuff down, and then halfway through I was like, I'm not going to follow any of this. Ownership, we can flip it to something totally different, right? We can flip it to you owning what you put out and protecting that. We can talk about protection and ownership. Back to responding to a poor situation. If somebody says something that you are trying to protect, or maybe they're trying to promote you. Let's say you work with a sponsor, right? You say you work with a sponsor. You're very protective over the message that you send to the people that has your name on it, right? Big part of ownership is making sure that legally in a contract, it says that you have the right to do these things, right? Now, on pure ownership, you obviously want to keep all the ownership that you possibly can. Consult lawyers, consult somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about, so that you don't sign your life rights away, so that you don't sign your likeness away, so that you don't sign a bunch of things away. And if you do sign them away, make sure it's for a lot of money. A lot of money. Not like a couple thousand, not like even close to like 10 or 20,000. I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're going to sign your likeness away. If it's going to be used temporarily, that's a different situation. But, you know, obviously, and even for those hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's even asking a little too little. This is you we're talking about here. So owning who you are, no matter how much it is that you think you have self-worth for, you always want to own you. You always want to own what you are. Go millions? Yeah, I mean, of course, that's what I mean. It's like, I'm talking... amount of money has to be astronomical, and you have to basically feel like you're done with your career to be able to do something like that, because it is everything. It is everything. You're the only person that can be you, right? I would personally not even for like millions. Company can come talk to me, but even for like millions, it would be hard for me to sign any of my likeness away, because the moment you do that, it's the moment you don't have you anymore. Now we could talk about that as a pride thing. It's like, oh, you're just proud of this, and you know, you sound like a pompous butt. They just want to do like a cartoon. Let them do a cartoon. It's like, well, you don't have. Okay, in the end, here we go. You don't have to. You don't have to sign anything away to be able to have that company create that cartoon. You don't. You absolutely don't. You can consult, you can approve, you can, again, temporarily have somebody be able to use it, not own it. That's a big thing too. these ins and outs, again, you talk with a lawyer about, not me. But the big lesson is when somebody asks you, because even like a decent lawyer may not care about you, right? A decent lawyer may say, hey, this is what this contract says. This is what everything is reading out, but they don't have any like personal feeling about anything. They may just say, yeah, I mean, if you want to sign that, that's what happens. This is the details of what's happened. They may not advise you, right? A real good lawyer will advise you and say, hey, you're signing your life rights away. I'm gonna tell you right now, this may not be a good idea, A, B, C, D, whatever. A good lawyer is also kind of an advisor in a lot of ways. They're also a business manager. Good lawyers do a lot of things. Good lawyers do basically everything. But the point is, be careful with what you're giving up ownership for, right? The things that you give up ownership for that are part of you and what you've created can almost never be taken back unless you do some extraneous efforts to do so, right? So that signing of a signature when there's a little clause in there, and the sad part is a lot of Twitch partnership agreements have this. You sign away a lot of things allowing Twitch, or I don't know about the YouTube partnership stuff. You sign companies away that will allow them to do whatever they want with your images, right? We've talked about this on this show several times. The things that go out to Twitch, let's say you make a comment. By the way, that one Knave, she's over here. She's an attorney as well. She's sitting right next to me. So she can answer some questions. But the big thing is, whatever she's saying, listen to her. What was I saying? Chat, remind me, what was I saying? He bribed me with a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and a smile? That's worth a lot, though. No, right, no legal advice, but general question. Pro tip, most lawyers don't care. Correct. Most lawyers aren't good lawyers, which is why whenever I hear the words, oh man, all lawyers suck, they just want money, they just make a bunch of money and they're the reason that the world is messed up. They're not wrong, actually. The lawyers are the reason, a lot of big reasons why the world is messed up, but that doesn't mean all lawyers are bad. Any illegal advice? She can hear me? She's literally right there. I can see her right there. We have a big enough office we can both work in here now, which is great. Ownership. I said something about ownership. That's the whole topic. No, we've been talking about ownership this whole time. We were talking about the fact that, so if somebody wants to make a TV show with you, somebody wants to use your likeness for something, somebody wants to utilize a thing, right? Work with them. Work with them, or hire somebody else to work with them and give permissions to use certain things, but almost always with your approval, right? With your approval. Even my manager doesn't have full approval to tell another company to use something some way, right? They would never do that. They would always ask. But I trust my managers to death. But still, I have final approval, right? I still get to choose what happens in the end. And that's important for everything you're doing. So always keep that in mind. Always keep that whatever you do. Oh, so I remember where we were going. So Twitch, right? You make content. You record it on your OBS or your XSplit or whatever it might be. You record those things. That goes out to a server. As soon as it goes out to that server, whatever happens after that, I'm pretty sure technically you don't really have control anymore. If it gets changed or whatever, you can fight for goodwill on if it was changed in a way that you made no comments over that or whatever. Unless you have a specific thing in your contract that says that they're not allowed to touch any single part of it, Twitch could kind of do whatever they want with it, right? They could put whatever they want on your channel, right? The thing in the little thing in the video window box is pretty much what you have control over, right? The little window box, pretty much what you have control over, but not even full control. The things on the top, the side, the left, the right, the bottom, all that stuff. That's Twitch. That's Twitch's domain. Keep that in mind, though. Keep that in mind when taking account of what you are doing with your career or whatever it might be. Make sure that you are okay with these things. Because no matter whether it's under your control or not, you have to kind of own it there too. I think most people that visit these websites are under the understanding that of what a person has control over and what doesn't. But we also, again, we have a lot of people who don't spend all their days on Twitch. They don't spend more than once a week or even once a month on Twitch. There's a lot of those people. So they may not know that the things on the channel, the top bar, the left bar, all these ads that may be popping up, that they may not know you have no control over that. So when somebody asks you, don't maybe get offensive or offended and say, hey, why would you ever ask that? That's stupid. Of course I don't have control over that. Don't get, like, you know, obviously there's a below the channel. There is a below the channel. It's a different channel. That's a different website though. Hey Sim, how are you? Good morning, good day. We don't eat candy that often. Wait, what was the question? If you're in the middle of a very frustrating day and you somehow have a euphoric moment to sit down and eat a piece of candy or snack, what makes your day better? What is that glorious morsel? Did she answer the question? Because I know the answer. Yes, okay, she did answer the question. Got it. Good time zone to you. Good times. I opened the show with, this is the show that stayed up all night playing video games with their friend. I played video games with Sim all morning. That was fun times. What games? I was helping teaching Sim how to play Escape from Tarkov. Because this is how neither one of us play shooters very often in our streams. But this is how we kind of justified it to ourselves, and I think it makes the perfect sense. So I play a lot of roguelites and simulators. Sim plays a lot of simulators and strategy games. It's both of those things, or all three of those things. It's a military simulator. It is a roguelite in the sense that you go in with different things, but it's basically single runs and you incur a lot of RNG. It's a strategy game because, well, you can play the game however you want, and sometimes the best strategy, actually usually the best strategy, wins. So it works. I'm starving. I ate your protein things. You ate my protein cookies? Oh. There's only a few in there. There's more. What do you want? Okay. I'll wrap up the show. We're pretty much done. Okay, so questions. This is generally how the shows go. I put a keyword in my head and we just run with it. Hence the title of the stream, Dan's Stream of Thought. We just run with it. So we talked about ownership. We talked about likeness in ownership. We talked about content in the way of how to control what content comes out, what you control, and the fact that sometimes people just need a reminder that you do have control. Because often we forget that, especially when we live on a medium like Twitch or YouTube where everybody kind of does things the same, but we forget why they do them the same, right? We forget that, oh, these are just algorithms that tend to work. These are trends that people tend to gravitate towards, instead of this is how we have to do it, right? And when we finally see somebody break out of it, they're like, oh my god, they're a genius, and they're super risky. It's like, they're risky, and they may be a genius, but maybe they just didn't want to follow the trend anymore. Sometimes it's just simple as that. Sometimes people who don't follow the trend, they fall off. It doesn't work, right? They have to go back to following the trend. But it's all like again, content creation on the internet is a wild, wild west. Shoot 'em, shoot 'em, shoot 'em. Okay, corral. Pew, pew, pew. Time things. So, there's a lot. There's a lot to take into mind. There's a lot to think about. But I want to say thank you to everybody who's watched. If we don't have any questions that we can answer in the last few minutes, I'll wrap up the show. We're live right here on twitch.tv/StreamerSquare every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Dan's Stream of Thought, where we talk about professionalism, because that's the theme of the whole show, is professionalism. And hopefully, we had a thread of professionalism throughout this show. We're talking about professionalism. We don't really have guests on this show, but I think I would like to start having guests on this show because while it is very much just the things that come out of my brain, I probably sound like a pompous butthole sometimes. So I'd like to have other perspectives. Plus, I'm not an expert on even close to everything. So I have a few ideas that I would like to have people on for that know way more than me about it. Hopefully we'll get some stuff happening next week. I might have to tap the mod team for this. Yeah, so we're on after, you know, all kinds of things. Let's see what's happening. A lot of this talk was about how to obtain or remember ownership. What's your opinion on a few signs that a creator has lost ownership of their content? The signs a person can kind of wake up if they recognize. Are you talking about... I'm assuming we're not talking about like contractual ownership. We're talking about like maybe the content has shifted to they're no longer being the creative. They're sort of following what everybody around them wants. Sort of like the whole making movies for them and not for you. The old actors saying is like, you know, make 3 for them and 1 for you. Basically make 3 blockbuster hits so that you can, that is made for the general audience so that you can make a big paycheck. Yet maybe to keep yourself happy, make an art film that you enjoy and the whole reason you got into acting in the first place. I'm assuming we're talking about that aspect of it, right? So I've seen lots of comments. In fact, here a wholesome comment the other day. Somebody came to my channel after watching Summit 1G, and they mentioned that. They said, "Hey, I just came from Summit's channel. I wanted to come watch you for a little bit." I was like, "Okay, it's fine. I mean, I don't ever want to take any, you know, it's Summit. He's got enough viewers. He's fine." But I was like, "Oh, dude, I love Summit." And the person went on to go, "Yeah, I do too. He's very funny. He's witty, and he doesn't let the community, or doesn't let chat run his show." And I was like, huh, is that something people are attracted to? Because that makes sense. That ownership of, I'm gonna do what I want with the show, but because you can do that and be stubborn and fail, but because he's successful, you know that he still keeps in mind everything that his community wants, right? And that's how I think I like to do my stream as well. I like to play games that I want to play, but I try not to play games that I think nobody wants to watch, right? So you play that balance, because I can sit there and play games that nobody wants to watch, and well, what's the point of even streaming it? But it's that balance of saying, I'm going to do things that I want, but also keep in mind the community, right? Don't do what the community is telling you to do, especially when you don't want to do it, but keep them in mind, which is part of it, because that's the whole reason you're becoming a creator, an entertainer. And so the comment was about how Summit 1G does that, and he does stuff that he finds fun, but he does stuff in the light that he sees reactions on. So he's like, "Oh, people think that's funny. I like it. Let's continue doing that," right? Because I've been, you know, talked to about this a lot. It's like, "Oh, you need to just buy into your memes that happen in your channel." It's like, what do you mean the memes that happen in the channel? It's like, you know, they're, this is just weird stuff like, oh, he knows the way, or whatever that meme was that I hated. I hated that meme. Meme was so stupid to me. And like, you just need to accept it. It's the current meme. It's funny. People like it. Just go with it. But I'm like, no, I don't like it. So I'm not going to go with it. And on one hand, does that hurt your channel? Possibly. But I like to play the long game, and I think this works, and this has worked. It's kept a lot of viewers around for a very long time, so I'm hoping that's the reason that they're around, is because I still do what I want to do with it. And then hopefully people will stay intrigued by that. Or at least they will also understand that and like that as well. It's like, hey, I liked you for you, and the fact that you're not doing what everybody else wants you to do against what you already wanted to do. Hopefully that's why so talking about ownership in that sense, like, I can buy into just memes and go crazy because people like it, right? I can do whatever the hot meme is right there. There's no permanality to that. That's not a word. There's no permanence to that. There's no permanence to... I love having a live audience. There's no permanence to you just following what everybody trends on. So hopefully the permanence of me owning everything that I do and understanding that this is me, and not to delineate from what I want as into my own content, then hopefully that will stay way more permanent into people's minds, into people's memories, into people's homes when they play their videos, and how they remember our content from years on out. Make your own memes. Well, see, that's the thing too, is like making your own memes. That's ownership as well. But there's a second part of the question. Let me finish that. What's your opinion on a few signs that a creator has lost ownership of their content? And that's, yeah, so I think we answered that. It's kind of part of it. It's like starting to do stuff that they may not seem comfortable with. Like, oh man, like you see these signs of like, oh man, you guys like that? All right, fine, we'll do it. Or somebody who picked up a type of game for a second. Like, there's a lot of YouTubers that went straight up to do only simulation games, right? And that's all they played. They're like, I'm just gonna play Farming Simulator. I'm just gonna play Forklift Simulator. I'm just gonna play Cops and Robbers. You know, they started playing all these things when they obviously didn't have a love for that. They just saw that Farming Simulator was a popular game, or like maybe didn't see that and just said, oh, simulators, people love simulators, just play simulators. And so then their views started dropping off because people started to understand that, oh, they don't actually really like this. They're just doing this because they think this is the current thing to do, right? Now, my fight against that is, because I do that so often, it definitely causes a little bit of contention, because it provides that if I'm not hilarious, which I'm not, if I'm not like a hilarious dude that makes everybody laugh all the time, the amount that I need things to be just like me with my own content does push away people that are not exactly like me, right? Because if you can't entertain somebody the whole time, but they also can't see themselves in you, or at least see like a connection to you, they're going to not want to be there anymore, right? It's going to be very much I feel disconnected with this. I'll come back when this person is playing a game that I enjoy, right? Because that is very much what happens. I've seen this happen. I've seen people that followed me a year ago come back and hang out with us. Oh, you're finally playing games that I like again. It's like, that means to me that I didn't entertain them enough to want to just come back for me, which is part of this. That is the main struggle of being a variety streamer, right? They want that you have to make them come back for you and nothing else. Because if it's for the game, that's a problem. That's part of, like, you know, chasing the hot game, or chasing the game that works for you a lot of the time. That's the big problem with that, is variety streamers shouldn't be doing that, right? They should be playing the game that fits their personality and the way that they can entertain the best. I fail that all the time. I know that. I know that's my biggest problem on Twitch, is I fail that all the time. I do try to play games and chase games that I think are popular, but also something I would like. When I should be playing something all the way through and finishing it, and then being able to let my personality break through what might be a game that somebody may not care about, right? May not, obviously dislike, but may not care about. So playing a game that allows you to be you and have fun with is most important. So I've been playing Tarkov a lot, and Tarkov is problematic in so many different ways. A ton of people are playing it. A ton of people hate it. A ton of people have political issues with it. All those things are perfectly fair and 100% accurate. But I find that it allows me to build suspenseful moments. It allows me to interact with chat between things because, there's a lot of downtime in the game. There's a lot of really exciting uptime, but there's a lot of downtime in the game. So it allows me to interact with things. It allows me to play with my friends because it's a fully multiplayer game. You have no choice in that. It allows a lot of things that allow me to be me. I'm a decent shooter, so it's not like you're going to just watch bad content the whole time. You're not going to watch bad gameplay. I'm okay at those things, so we can make those things happen. I'm getting to know the game a little bit more, so I'm able to have friends on that don't know the game as well and be able to teach them. And I think that my biggest strength is a teacher. It's not really the doing part, even though I do it okay. And it goes for everything. I do it okay, but I think I'm a much better teacher at it, which is, again, why we have this show. Why I have a book. Why I have, those things. I'm better at doing those than actually doing them, but I enjoy doing them, so I still do them, Yeah. I got a lot, because this is a thought process that I've been thinking about for a long time, because I got a lot of plans. There are, I got new actual videos coming to YouTube that are completely different than anything I've ever done before. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, but that's kind of, I hope I answered the question. I have not, Liam. I've heard a lot of things, though. A lot of things are happening. The signs a person can kind of wake up if they recognize. Yeah, I think that is part of it. Understanding that you're not, well, the moment you're not doing things for you. Well, this is the thing too. People tend to confuse it. This is why it's difficult to just give general advice, because people take these things obviously very different ways. This is part of, communication, with mass communication versus interpersonal and group communication. Those are the three focuses. My focus is group communication, which is what we're doing right now. It's difficult because you can't get it right. This is why my speech is so erratic all the time, because I know for a fact on the most academic and basic level, you can't get it right. And I know how many things are out there. I know how many people have different understandings of things. I know how people kind of tick when it comes to, well, not getting it. This is a normal thing. This is fair, by the way. So I change my speech so often to trying to say, well, there's this, and then, oh, but if you think about it, there's this, and then I try to cover all the bases when I shouldn't, but that's kind of where that comes from. This is, again, why it's called the stream of thought. I'll keep saying that. And then you have, I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know where I'm going. Like when I abandoned Fallout 3. What do you mean? Are you talking about on stream? See, now we have a meme for Dan that will last permanently. What is it? Permanalescence. That's not what I said, is it? But that's a good one. I said permanality, but permanalescence is a great one. It's very close to acquiescence, though, and that's a Dan Giesling thing. So should I just start saying those words? What? What'd you last one? Permanalaciously? Like, I'm gonna make you good. I'm gonna make you food so good that you're gonna be in enjoyment permanently. Huh? Permanently. You're gonna be permanently overjoyed. I can't help but picking up his vernacular. Yeah, did you not see the show? I was part of his interviews on that Tarkov. What do they call it? The Tarkovicins. Yeah, I was one of the interviews. He's a good dude. Going back to insults. What? Did we talk about insults? How do you take it when people try to ask you about your race and nationality? How do I take it? I take it like I've taken it my entire life, which is people making a joke or comment about my nationality or race. I ignore it. Why? Because it doesn't matter. He streams during Locos hours. Hey, Wes. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Danotage, you should do that now because that's being uploaded from my perspective this week. I just got to edit it because I want to edit it nicely. Salty Sparks, can I just say, you're a master and a superhero. You're a superhero. So, to wrap this up, I'd like to change the topic next week, but if I don't get the plans in order, we'll continue this topic because I think there's still more to talk about. But I have an idea for the topic next week. I will contact some people, and then maybe the week after that, hey Wes, Rini, if you guys are available, I may be able to chat with you. But until then, you've been watching or listening to or hanging out with Danotage. That's me. Hi. Y'all can call me Dan or Mustache Face. If you're listening to this on an audio medium, I have a mustache. Just in case you didn't know that. Right here on twitch.tv/StreamerSquare. StreamerSquare. Did I spell that right? I'm a terrible speller. It's right there and I didn't even look at it. You can watch this in the past, or yeah, from the future in the past at youtube.com/user/StreamerSquare. Follow us right here on Twitter at StreamerSquare. That way you get all sorts of things. It's more than just when shows go live. There's all kinds of streaming tips and legitimately tons of information to follow. So whether you're a streamer, whether you're an aspiring streamer, whether you're a moderator, or whether you just want to know more information about the background scenes of your favorite streamers and shows, follow us here on StreamerSquare and all avenues. I've been Danotage. You can follow me at Danotage, twitch.tv/Danotage. I'm actually Danotage everywhere. Twitch and YouTube are my main accounts right now. However, if you're into fitness and powerlifting, we do a lot of content over on Instagram.com/Danotage. I am in a little bit of a rehab session right now, but we are lifting. I'm part of a powerlifting gym now, and hopefully in the next year, we will be having a competition, an official competition, and I hope to win, or at least place, so that I can have something to show off a lot of my hard work. Anyway, follow us on all those accounts, or follow us on your favorite account. Doesn't matter which one. Just make sure it's one that you like and you think you'll enjoy. New content coming to YouTube. Same great content, but improved coming to Twitch every 2 days or two times a day. Once in the morning, once in the evening, at 8 a.m. Pacific or 6 p.m. Pacific. Check us out there, and we'll be there. So if you have any questions past what we talk about each week, you're more than welcome to join us in Discord or join us in my stream, and we can talk about it there. But come back every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific or 6 p.m. Eastern, and we'll talk about more stuff. Okay? This has been Dan's Stream of Thought. I will see you next time. Stay positive, play more video games, and read more comics. Have a 1 to 9, everybody. I love ya. Thermal Turnip. I'll be your cam boy. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!